Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is set for one fall. Introducing first, coming to the ring, weighing in at 14 stone, 8 pounds, from Chelmsford in Essex, Filthy Phil Powers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to LDN Capital TV. And my name is John Atkins, your opening matchup tonight. Filthy Phil Powers returning here to LDN to take on the man who has made his way through to the finals of the Golden Grappler Tournament, the sensation from the Mediterranean, Yorghos. Phil Powers not wasting any time making friends here tonight in Waltham Abbey. I'm not sure he'd be able to if he tried. His opponent tonight, one of the most popular members of the LDN roster.
His opponent, hailing from Athens in Greece, and weighing in at 13 stone, 3 pounds, Yorghos Christopoulos.
Comes now, young Yorghos there. One of the most promising prospects of the future here in LDN. A man who has beaten several more experienced wrestlers than himself to get through to the finals of the Golden Grappler Tournament. The ever-popular Yorghos. And these fans can't get enough of him. And a little bit of traditional Greek dancing there, just to set the mood. And Yorghos is going to have his hands full tonight, though. Filthy Phil Powers, not someone to be taken lightly. And those lucky fans having a great time here tonight. And no question about it, they are wishing Yorghos well. In this, the opening contest here tonight on Capital TV. And what a show we have got for you this evening. This is going to be a special show here tonight, fans, because as well as Yorghos against Phil Powers, we will see the notorious Jon Ritchie, the current LDN British Heavyweight Champion, defend his belt right here on Capital TV. Plus, a matchup that has been building for over a month. Mike Mendoza will finally get his hands on Danny Garnell, a man who put him out of wrestling for 4 weeks and gave him a serious concussion, putting his career at risk. Mendoza has received medical clearance. He has gone through humongous, and tonight, finally, only here on Capital TV, will Mendoza get to go one-on-one with Danny Garnell. That's all coming up later in the hour. But first now, a matchup between Yorghos and Filthy Phil Powers. Two young stars here at LDN. But philosophically speaking, they are diametrically opposed. Yorghos happy to wrestle by the rules. And Filthy Phil Powers happy to take any shortcut he can. Two more differing individuals you could not hope to meet. Wrestling-wise, there's not a huge amount in it. Phil Powers has been wrestling for many years, and he is one of the most experienced grapplers in the UK today. Yorghos without the experience, but he has got an almost prodigious talent. A talent that has lifted him through to the finals of the Golden Grappler Tournament, where in just a few short weeks he will face World of Sport legend Johnny Kidd in the finals here on Capital TV, in a matchup you will not want to miss. But Yorghos has got to be careful not to look past his next match. I know exactly how excited he is about the finals of the Golden Grapplers Tournament, but he can't afford to look past an opponent the calibre of Phil Powers. Yorghos giving Powers a taste of his own medicine there. And a picture-perfect drop kick, followed by a flying shoulder barge. And Powers caught unaware. He's not used to people fighting fire with fire. And he's taking a brief respite on the outside of the ring. And Yorghos has got off to a great start here tonight. And Powers back in the ring the hard way. And Yorghos, who is no slouch in the scientific wrestling department, cinches on a wrist lock to Phil Powers, of which Powers can find no escape and very nearly gets covered. Powers trying all he can to get out of that one, but to no avail. And Powers has to resort to breaking the rules. I think he got a thumb to the eye there of Yorghos, and that slowed Yorghos right down, and of course it broke the wrist lock. And Phil Powers free to continue the matchup. But that just shows exactly the kind of individuals we are dealing with here tonight. The only way Powers was able to break that hold was with a thumb to the eye. And that is going to take its toll on Yorghos. Yorghos whipping Powers across the ring. Goes up for the monkey flip. And Powers goes flying. Beautiful head scissors there from Yorghos. Powers seeking solace in the corner, but he doesn't find it. And a drop kick from Yorghos, and Yorghos is quite frankly showing Phil Powers no mercy at all. And I am impressed with this youngster from Athens, Greece. Snapmare takedown there from Phil Powers, followed up by a sharp boot to the back. Comes off the ropes with a knee. And Yorghos has got his opponent well scouted so far. He is well aware of Phil Powers' tactics and style of wrestling. And when he's been able to, he has matched him move for move. And he has preempted a lot of attacks from Phil Powers, but now he finds himself on the mat and in a difficult position. And there's that shoulder down. And the only way he can resolve that, the only way he can relieve the pressure is by leaving the shoulders on the ground, and he doesn't want to get a pinfall in this matchup. Another knee to the face from Phil Powers. Yorghos whipped across the ring, up and over. And he sends Powers across the ring, and another drop kick. And Yorghos absolutely on fire, and he is tying up Phil Powers in the ropes. And that is something we haven't seen Yorghos do before. But I think he has just absolutely had enough, but Powers escaped. And crime did not pay for Yorghos on that occasion. I don't think he's got the conviction to fully wrestle a match in the style of Phil Powers. It was a nice idea, but he'd only have received a public warning for it anyway. But now, Phil Powers with a cover, and that could be all, but Yorghos kicks out. And Phil Powers is in fantastic shape, as is Yorghos. And this really is a clash of two of the top stars here in LDN today. And you've got to believe that just maybe Phil Powers is perhaps jealous of Yorghos. Oh my, a big right hand. And that looked like it might have been a closed fist to me, but the referee didn't see it. Powers going up top for the superplex. And that's going to take a lot out of both men, but it's going to take the most out of Yorghos. And Powers looks very pleased with his handiwork. Rolls across for the cover, gets a 2 count, and so close there. But Yorghos showing the determination, showing the heart of a champion, showing the heart and spirit that has brought him through to the finals of the Golden Grappler tournament. There's a roll-up. And this matchup reaching a frenetic pace right now. Yorghos with the arm drag, comes off with a splash, hooks the leg, and a 2 count. Suplex gets to 2. And fans, as I was saying, you've got to believe that maybe Phil Powers is somewhat jealous of the success that Yorghos has achieved so far to date in his LDN career. Phil Powers, a very experienced grappler. Very solid, fundamental wrestler. You better believe he'd love to have got through to the finals of the Golden Grappler tournament. And I am sure that he feels he deserves that much more than young Yorghos, who has been wrestling for a fraction of the time Phil Powers has, but has already achieved a large amount of success here in this company. Comes off the top with a double axe handle. And Yorghos might be out. Yorghos might just be out cold. Phil Powers, of course, will go to any lengths to win a matchup, be they by fair means or foul. But right now, he seems to have the measure of Yorghos. And he is going up top a 3rd time. And Yorghos still clambering to get to his feet. But Powers went to the well once too often, he got caught. And a big slam off the top turnbuckle, followed by a brace of clotheslines. There's a 3rd. Now Yorghos going up top. He is on that top rope. Powers reaches his feet, comes off with a flying cross body, hooks the leg, there's a cover. And Yorghos with a win here tonight in the opening contest of LDN Capital TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Yorghos.
And a great win there for Yorghos. And that is going to set him in fantastic stead for the final of the Golden Grapplers tournament, which you will see exclusively on Capital TV in just a couple of weeks. But for now, Yorghos maintaining that winning streak and defeating Filthy Phil Powers. Big win there for Yorghos, and all credit to him for not looking past Powers. But you better believe that right now he is focusing entirely on the Golden Grapplers tournament, and best of luck to him. He is going to have his work cut out for him there, as he will take on Johnny Kidd in a Spirit Rules matchup. Fans, coming up later tonight, the LDN Championship is on the line as the notorious Jon Ritchie defends his belt.
This is London.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is set for 1 fall, and it's for the LDN Championship and Belt. Introducing first, hailing from the East End of London and weighing in at 14.5 stone. He is the LDN British Champion, the notorious Mr. Jon Ritchie.
You Steve, you don't wait to be given, you take. You want a real match with a real man for a real belt. Now bring it on!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the LDN British Heavyweight Championship on the line now. There is your champion, the notorious Jon Ritchie. That rather unsavoury character from the East End of London. He is defending his belt tonight here on Capital TV against a hand-picked opponent.
And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent, the challenger, hailing from Southend in Essex, weighing in at 14 stone, 9 pounds, Kyle Ashmore.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you see it, the most impressive belt in British wrestling today. And here comes Kyle Ashmore challenging for the belt. And with all due respect to the youngster, I have to question his credentials. The last time we saw him on LDN Capital TV, he lost to Jonathan Hardwick, the counsellor, in Hardwick's debut match. Ashmore certainly has a great attitude, but so far here in LDN he has not proved himself worthy of a top spot in the rankings, and he has certainly done very little, indeed nothing, to deserve a shot at the championship belt. But for some reason Jon Ritchie hand-picked his opponent here tonight, and the more cynical amongst you, myself included, might be thinking it was because he was looking for an easy night. Well, that's what it's all about. Referee Chris Roberts assigned this contest. Both men ready, and let's be quite fair, this is probably the biggest shot that Kyle Ashmore has ever received in his career to date. And the fans here at Waltham Abbey right behind him. But in his only LDN Capital TV appearance to date, he lost his matchup. And without wanting to push the point home too much, he is not what I would consider deserving of a championship matchup. And that's one of the problems with LDN's champion Jon Ritchie, the notorious Jon Ritchie. He is a fighter, but he's not what I would describe as a fighting champion. Yes, he defended the belt just a couple of weeks ago against Tex Benedict here on Capital TV. And there's no doubt about it, that match will have taken an awful toll on his and Benedict's body. But Jon Ritchie was really backed into a corner on that occasion. And Benedict went through a number of hoops and bells to get that match. Ritchie now forced into defending the title again. However, with his choice of opponent, and he has picked a man who, in all fairness, is not quite at his level just yet. That's not to say that Kyle Ashmore doesn't have a great future ahead of him in wrestling. Just to say that at this stage, he is far from what I would consider ready for a shot at the most prestigious belt in LDN today. But the fans certainly seem to have taken to him. And you never know with professional wrestling or professional sports in general, there's a cover. As I was saying, you never know in wrestling. On any given night, anything can happen. And if that underdog is hungry enough, the favourite just might fall. So, who knows what's going to happen here tonight? And let's not forget, fans, as well, coming up next, the main event of Capital TV. A matchup that has been over 1 month in the making. Mike Mendoza facing the man who gave him a concussion that put him out for 4 weeks. Danny Garnell. Very, very long history between those two. Garnell cost Mendoza his place in the Golden Grapplers tournament. Ambushed him after a match. Gave him a concussion that put him out for weeks. And it was touch and go whether Mendoza would return to wrestling for a while. He did not receive doctor's clearance for over a week. And fortunately, I believe Mendoza has made a full recovery now. But when you suffer a concussion, that really takes it out of you. And you have to think very carefully indeed before returning to a sport like wrestling. But Mendoza wants this very badly, and you will see it here tonight next. Mikey Mendoza against Danny Garnell. And Jon Ritchie outclassing the young Kyle Ashmore here tonight. And you have to wonder the reasons behind a matchup like this. Perhaps Ritchie realises how close he came to losing that belt against Tex Benedict. And perhaps he is trying to rebuild his confidence with a series of quick wins. Perhaps that's his strategy going into this bout. Just lift his spirits. Help him to think and act like a champion again. He has certainly had his hands full with Tex Benedict over the last couple of months here on Capital TV. And by the looks of things, he is going to have his hands full with Ash somewhere down the line. And Ash is a perpetual contender to any belt in any company that he wrestles for. And he issued an open challenge to Jon Ritchie. Oh, a low blow there from Ritchie. And I think the look on Kyle Ashmore's face says it all.
Notorious Jon Ritchie receives his first public warning.
Ritchie quite rightly getting a public warning for that one. And there's no use arguing with ringing out to Steve Litton. So Jon Ritchie is dispatched of Tex Benedict. He knows that somewhere over the horizon he has got Ash, who has threatened to fight him any place, anywhere, any time. I would imagine that a matchup like this is simply to try and build up the confidence of Jon Ritchie again. You notice he's come out without Humongous as well, and over the last couple of weeks, they have been almost inseparable. But I think perhaps Ritchie is looking to prove to himself that he can still go it alone, and that he still has that championship ability that won him the belt in the first instance. Snapmare takedown. Ashmore back up. Oh my, right to the head there with the boots. And that is how legendary wrestler Haystacks Calhoun lost both ears in the 1950s. So that is a potentially devastating maneuver there. European uppercut there from Jon Ritchie, perfectly legal. But that looked like it was a closed fist. That looked like it might have been a closed fist, and Ritchie, the notorious veteran, used his body to shield his actions from the referee. And you can see referee Chris Roberts, he suspects, but he didn't see, and so he cannot call a disqualification. Kyle Ashmore digging deep, gets a roll up, and just a 2 count. A nice inside cradle there from the youngster. And that caught Jon Ritchie off guard, and another roll up. And he was very close to the ropes. And Jon Ritchie, with great ring positioning there, knew exactly where he was. And now he rolls to the outside for a brief break. Ritchie taking a respite on the outside. He is trying to get his head together there. But he is actually spending rather more time arguing with the fans in attendance. And that is not going to do his psyche any good. Back in at the count of 7. Ducks a clothesline from Ashmore. Didn't manage to duck the drop kick. Here's a cover. Hook of the leg. And Ritchie again able to counter. Oh, he's still very much by the ropes. Great ring awareness from Jon Ritchie. He might be down, but he's certainly not out. Kyle Ashmore pointing up to the top. He is telegraphing that maneuver, though. And if the fans know what's going on, Jon Ritchie certainly must know. And my goodness, a spinning corkscrew splash. But absolutely wasted because Jon Ritchie was in no way ready for that one. Boston Crab there from Jon Ritchie. And I suspect we might just see a submission. And there it is. Kyle Ashmore, nowhere to go. And a win there for Jon Ritchie. No real surprises. Kyle Ashmore showed a lot of heart and a lot of guts. And if that spinning corkscrew splash
the winner of the match
had hit Ritchie, then my goodness, things might be very different.
LDN British champion, the notorious Mr. Jon Ritchie.
But it was a rookie mistake there from Ashmore. Jon Ritchie playing possum, rolled well out of the way, dragged Ashmore into the middle of the ring, snapped on that Boston Crab, and 3 seconds later, still your champion, the notorious Jon Ritchie. And look at him, he looks like he's just won the FA Cup final. What a ridiculous celebration. Fans, coming up next, a match over a month in the making. Mikey Mendoza versus Danny Garnell.
I'm Lloyd Ryan, and this is the original Kendo Nagasaki. And you're watching LDN Capital TV on channel 427.
This is London. This is London.
Main event time now here, fans, on Capital TV, and this matchup is over 7 weeks in the making, and it goes back to the quarterfinals of the Golden Grappler tournament. Mikey Mendoza won his quarterfinal matchup against Corrupt, and Danny Garnell, who was angry at not being included in the quarterfinal brackets, challenged Mendoza to give up his spot in the tournament. Mendoza said, "I'm not going to just hand it over, but I'll fight you for it." And, well, things really escalated from there.
And his opponent from Eltham in London, weighing in at 17 stone 2, Mike Mendoza.
And here comes the man himself now, Mikey Mendoza. As I said, Mendoza, very, very sportingly, he had absolutely no reason to do so other than sporting honour. He put his semi-final position in the Golden Grapplers tournament on the line in a match against Danny Garnell, and he actually did defeat Garnell. By rights, he should have wrestled Yorghos in the semi-finals, and how different the final of the tournament might be if he had. By rights, it should have been Mendoza versus Yorghos in the semis, but after Mendoza scored the win against Garnell, Garnell absolutely lost it. He snapped. He attacked Mike Mendoza viciously and gave him a serious concussion that took him out of wrestling for 2 weeks. And Mendoza did not receive medical clearance in a hurry. Indeed, doctors advised him to take a longer time away if he could possibly help it. But Mendoza was so keen to get revenge on Garnell that he has barely been off our screens in that time. He took just 2 weeks off to recover. And when he returned, he did not show any signs of ring rust at all. And so Mendoza, since he's been back, he has had his eyes on one thing only, and that is revenge against Garnell. But to get that revenge, it has not been easy. Nice strikes there from Garnell and from Mendoza. They are matching each other blow for blow. Martial arts style blows to the leg. Not a style we have seen from either man before, but that shows you just how personal this contest is. And as I was saying, Mendoza's path to Garnell has not been paved with roses, shall we say. Mendoza had to go through Humongous on his return. Humongous and Garnell recently have become associates or colleagues, if you will, of Jon Ritchie, and that might be perhaps because Jon Ritchie is keeping his enemies closer. I know if I was Jon Ritchie, the LDN British champion, and I knew there was a 32-stone man on the roster, I'd rather have him onside than challenging for my belt. Likewise, Ritchie must clearly see something in Garnell, because the three have been almost inseparable in recent weeks, and they cost Tex Benedict his shot at the belt. And as I was saying, since Mendoza returned to action, he had to go through Humongous, which he did do in short order. The matchup with Garnell was signed, but last week we saw both men on the opposite ends of the ring as cornermen for Steve Gray and Johnny Kidd respectively in the semi-final matchup of the Golden Grapplers tournament, and what a classic bout that was. Kidd there just scoring the win over Steve Gray in round 5. And Johnny Kidd will go on to face Yorghos in the final in just a couple of short weeks' time, right here on Capital TV. But now it's about revenge, and it is about Mikey Mendoza, and it's about Danny Garnell. And Mendoza looks to be in trouble, because Danny Garnell is just bending that knee socket out of place and twisting the ankle while he's at it. And you can see Mendoza clutching his hamstring. And Garnell, who has not been around LDN for as long as Mendoza, has already made an awful lot of names, an awful lot of waves here in the company. He was all over the quarterfinals of the Golden Grappler tournament. He attacked respected World of Sport superstar Brian Goldbelt Maxine in the quarterfinals. He basically stole Mendoza's position in the semi-finals and was a corner man for Johnny Kidd last week. Mendoza, on the other hand, despite winning his quarterfinal, did not progress any further in the tournament. And that does not sit well with Mikey Mendoza, and he is out for revenge. But so far, Danny Garnell with the upper hand. And these men have been surprising me with a real ground-based attack. Heavy leg blows on one another. Strong martial arts style kicks. And Mendoza finally managing to turn things around. And he just knocks Garnell to the outside, and he follows up with an elbow off the apron. And Mendoza fighting on the outside of the ring, and that is not characteristic of him, but that shows you exactly how much he wants to get revenge over Danny Garnell. Oh my, big uppercut there. Kick to the guts, and Garnell setting Mendoza up for a pile driver. And quite frankly, if he hits it, Mendoza's career could be over. Fans, I don't believe it. We have got to go to a break, but this matchup will continue. Don't go anywhere.
This is London. Is London.
Let's do it now. Wanna smack that it back to a new sound. Bump it up, subsonic in the background. Let's smack that it back to a new sound. Bump it up, subsonic in the background. Wanna smack that it back to a new sound. Bump it up, subsonic in the background. Do it now. Smack that it back to a new sound. Bump it up, subsonic in the background. Wanna smack that it back to a new sound. Bump it up, subsonic in the background. Let's smack that it back to a new sound. Bump it up, subsonic in the background. Wanna smack that it back to a new sound. Bump it up, subsonic in the background. Do it now. Smack that it back to a new sound. Bump it up, subsonic in the background. Let's do it now. 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 Let's
And this is a real classic grudge match that we are seeing, fans. Two men who cannot stand one another. Another big kick to the back. Just knocking the wind out of Garnell. Garnell resuming a vertical base. Fighting his way back up to his feet, and Mendoza back down to his knees. Knee drop there from Garnell, a vicious, premeditated assault. And Mendoza so far has been waging a slow and calculated attack on Mikey Mendoza. And Mendoza has not been able to show too much offense. Nonetheless, he reverses that whip, looks for a backbreaker. No, he gets it, a sidewalk slam. Hook of the leg, nearly a cover, and just a 2 count. Could not quite hook that leg as strongly as he might have liked to. Flying head scissors there from Garnell, a desperation move. We don't see much high flying from him, but it had the desired effect on Mendoza. Just shake him up a bit. And this contest has taken, frankly, so much out of both men that it's all they can do to stand on their knees and trade blows in the center of the ring. And they are just raining down chops and blows on one another like nobody's business. A right to the eye from Garnell, and that's going to slow anyone down. But Mendoza up with a charge into the corner. And now Mendoza looking maybe for a pile driver. Oh, he's looking for a powerbomb and he doesn't get it. Garnell able to put the brakes on, rolls over with a cover. And that was close indeed. 2 7/8 if it was a day. Both men reverse, scoop slam from Mendoza. Hook of the leg, but Garnell's foot in the ropes. And Garnell very fortunate indeed there. Well, that one could well have been over. But Mendoza now back to that powerbomb attempt, and he hits it. That was a big powerbomb. That was a devastating powerbomb there. And referee checking on Danny Garnell. He landed squarely on the back of his neck. And Garnell going to be lucky if he can continue this matchup. And I guess you could say Mendoza may have received the measure of revenge that he was looking for, but nobody wants to see a man injured. And Garnell receiving medical attention. But hang on a second, there's Jon Ritchie! There's the notorious Jon Ritchie, the LDN British Heavyweight Champion. Just ramming the head into the turnbuckle, a big European uppercut, and a blow with a closed fist. And he has sent Mikey Mendoza sprawling. Chokes him out on the ropes. And all of a sudden, Garnell with a miraculous recovery. And it was a setup all along. And that is quite frankly despicable. Garnell with a DDT, and that might be enough. Here's a cover. An unbelievable 3 count there from Danny Garnell, defeating Mikey Mendoza.
Danny Garnell.
Thanks in no small part to the actions of one notorious Jon Ritchie, LDN British Heavyweight Champion. And I guess that was Ritchie's part of the deal. Ritchie keeps Garnell, a promising youngster, on side. And Garnell gets to score a big win over his nemesis, Jon Ritchie, over his nemesis, Danny Garnell. Well, fans, what a disappointing blow there for Mike Mendoza. The matchup that he's been training so hard for. This was so personal for Mendoza. He wanted to score revenge over a man who nearly put him out of wrestling for good. But when it came down to it, it was the interference of notorious Jon Ritchie, the British champion. 2 against 1. It was too much for Mendoza to overcome. He wrestled a great match, but he couldn't get the job done. Fans, we're out of time. Join us next week right here on Capital TV.